So, any codec moments from you, Snake?
Hey everyone, welcome to episode 1 of the Codec Moments podcast. I'm joined here as hopefully always with Flashmedallion. How you doing today?
Doing very good, thank you. How we going?
Hello and welcome to Not Codec Moments with your host Waylander and joined, hopefully as always, Effrum Scufflegrit. Hey buddy, how's it going?
Good, man. Just getting ready for Delta. I'm actually kind of like ping-ponging back and forth now if it's going to be a launch day thing for me. I was kind of curious on, if you're going to dive right into it yourself.
I am going to dive right into it because I'm on summer holidays for this last week. I've got 1 week left. I am a teacher, by the way, for anyone who's listening. I only have 1 more week of like free time and then it's back to the grind. And so when I saw that with the pre-order you can get the 2 days early access, normally I don't care about that kind of thing, but I was like, you know what? This is the one that I'm actually gonna go for it. So Tuesday at 10 a.m. for me, I can jump right in. So I'm looking forward to that.
Gosh, that crept up on me. I didn't, it's been coming for so long, kind of thing. Like I think I always just kind of filed it away in the back of my head, and then it's probably about 2 weeks ago, I was like, oh my god, it's upon me, and I get. Speaking of free time and everything, I don't have a summer holiday, obviously, but I'm a new dad. For those that don't know, my little boy is about 14 months old now. So a little less time for video games, obviously, but Metal Gear, like you, Joel, I typically don't really care about pre-order bonuses and stuff, but to your point, I mean, Metal Gear continues to be still my favorite video game series, and there's no topping it for me. So it's just still inviting. I'm just kind of curious if I want to wait for some of these FPS and resolution issues to be ironed out.
I mean, I would rather they don't get ironed out since that's more authentic to the original PS2 version. Um, but no, first of all, congratulations on the kid, little
Thank you.
Adamska, and
Thank you.
becoming Ephraim Daddlegrit. So, but yeah, I get what you mean about the not much time for games. I've been studying a lot of Japanese, and also my entire life blew up last year, so that's why I haven't uploaded in a while. Oh, actually, speaking of, before I continue, guess who hit 250 subscribers, baby?
Whoa, that came out of nowhere.
Yeah, so this video definitely I was waiting, of course, for 250 subscribers to release this video. It definitely wasn't that I fucked up the audio on my recording and didn't know what to do for a ton of time. But yeah, so 250 subscribers, that's feeling pretty good. Even if I just had one, I'd be happy.
Congratulations, man. That is actually, and for anyone that's listening that's not subscribed, I am genuinely not saying this just because Joel's a good friend of mine. It's great content. It's not your typical, trying to unpack every little thing. It's not this deep critical analysis, although there is that. There's great discussion.
Actually, if you pay attention in game, the rations are actually just really big pizzas.
No, they're bagels. They're fucking bacon, egg, and cheese bagels with salt, pepper, ketchup.
That explains why Snake has so much cake in this game.
Yes.
On it, but what I really like about your content, Joel, is that I really do feel like I'm just watching. Obviously, we're friends, but I think, even if we weren't close, I would get the sense that you're just sitting down, having a good time, and it's just fun. It's just fun.
Thank you. The thing is, when it comes to making content, I always just make something that I myself would want to watch or enjoy rather than me chasing some illustrious goal or anything. So.
And I think that's almost like a flip, not to just completely go down the rabbit hole of social media and content before, we really dive into Metal Gear, but it's an interesting flip-flop for me in the sense that, in the lead up to the release of Metal Gear Solid 5, and we're all, doing creative content and thinking of stuff to do, there's always the lens of, like, oh, I bet the subreddit would like this, but I think everyone was just kind of, doing what they wanted to do. Fast forward 10 years and here we are, and it's so much, the content itself is so much more focused on, what will get me the likes, what will get me the subscribers, what are the other channels doing. I have to mirror that, and like there's almost something, I hesitate to use the term beautiful, but I think there is something beautiful lost in content creation where now, everything's being standardized, and I wish there was more. I'll give a shout out to my favorite media podcast, Bald Move, with Jim and Aaron, who cover all kinds of TV shows and movies and video games. They too are very much just two pals, and let's just talk our stuff and go through it. So the more content like that, the better, I think.
But anyway, I think we've delayed the topic long enough. I don't know what B-roll I've put in the background. Hopefully, it's been pretty interesting. But yeah, with the dawn of Delta coming in a couple days for me, and who knows when for you, I wanted to ask you, what is your favorite thing about Metal Gear Solid 3?
It's I'll give you two answers that can be kind of annoying sometimes, but the
Oh, I didn't know you were running for office.
Hey, I do live in America. Everything's through the lens of politics now. I think it would be the experience to the lead up of it, where we're coming off the heels of Metal Gear Solid 2 with this giant brain frag of, we're not sure what's real. You wait through after the credits, and then the organization's biggest donators have been, dead people and people that are against philanthropy. And so going into 3, and we find out that it's going to be in the 60s, and the internet hadn't quite exploded to what it was. There are communities, but they're all very fragmented. There was, I think Snake Soup may have been around at the time, but a lot of it was just like the GameFAQs forums, GameSpot, which was a different beast at the time, and just like the theorizing. And yeah, I even used to have like a series on the subreddit just posting old fan theorizing, mostly for 3. So I think that was my favorite part of it, just like the dissecting the images of the 60s and wondering if it was going to be, the two snakes theory, there's going to be 2 timelines. As far as the game itself, I think it was just how deeply things kind of affected each other, which, it's not groundbreaking now, obviously, but Metal Gear was kind of the first, or the first best, to implement a lot of things. And I'm thinking back to blowing up the munitions buildings, and then like the soldiers have, I think it's less ammo or guns, or like their guns run out of ammo, or like if you blow up their food storage, they get hungry, you can poison them. So it wasn't open world, but it was very open there's just so much freedom in the things that you could try. And I remember being, a teenager and just trying all these ideas. And it's kind of like Breath of the Wild, where like people started calling it like, holy shit, I can't believe that worked. Like that was like 3 for me. What about you?
The way it's not an open world, but when I play it, it still feels like an open world. Like there's plenty of open world games where they use invisible walls or like tall buildings or something, and you're really boxed in. Metal Gear Solid 3 is designed in such a way that really you're going down hallways with like side hallways. Like there's not really much difference between the jungle and the tanker, really, except for how it looks, and it feels so big. So yeah, I've always enjoyed the way that the maps connect and the layout of the levels and everything. And of course that ties into the camo index very much so. Like it's designed from the ground up with camo in mind, so it's really fun doing a new game plus run once you've got all the camos. As for the lead up, I'm a little younger than you, I think by about 10 years. So it was still early days of the internet for me in the old Scottish countryside. So all the rumors I was mostly getting about MGS3 were from like PlayStation Magazine and just like stuff you heard on the schoolyard and that. And I still remember, like, there's this kid at my school, famous bullshitter, who just lied about everything, and he, as there is, and he was just like, yeah, because of the events of Metal Gear Solid 2, like Snake is fine using a knife now because he learned it from Raiden, and like, he's going to the jungle to look for Ocelot and stuff, and like. And there was no way to like dispute that. Like that kind of crazy bullshit doesn't exist anymore.
It's always VR, right? It's always all VR.
Oh
It's
yeah.
always
Well,
the
that's
theory.
yeah. So
Right. And you brought up a really good point with the level design, I think. And I think something that's been a staple in Metal Gear Solid, especially in the original trilogy, is not before Solid even. I take it back. Metal Gear 1 and Metal Gear 2 as well. You know, there's hardware limitations, of course. And how
Mhm.
do you make a long game? How do you make it so you give someone a game and they're not just over with it in a day? And typically it was, you know, think of your platformers, Mario,
Mhm.
Mega Man.
Mhm.
The answer was make it hard as shit and then say either
Yeah.
play it forever until Mega Man 2 comes out, or you call the Nintendo hotline and they help you out and you pay money, of course. But
Yeah.
with Metal Gear Solid and the preceding games before it, there was the backtracking, and you know, if you look at the 3D model of Shadow Moses all in one thing, it's actually quite small. But to me, anyway, you know, you look at people play the game in modern days and like they'll complain about the backtracking, but when the first time I played it, I don't remember even noticing or complaining. Maybe on Metal Gear Solid 2, I think when you had to go get the sniper rifle, I was like, oh god.
Ah, yeah,
Um,
that fucked me over during my big boss run because you have to go to the strut to get the AK, and then you go into the Shell 1 core, and then when you come out, you have to go back again to get the sniper and then go. But because I'd already gone once, I forgot that you need to go again, and this is the save on the big boss run. You have to defeat Fat Man before you can even go to the Shell 1 core to do that stuff to then get to the bridge, and then once the Harrier fight starts, that's your next save. So imagine my horror when I get to the bridge. I don't have the sniper, and I realize I have to fight Fat Man again, and he's really tough on extreme. The backtrack for the sniper versus Sniper Wolf in MGS1. The first time, or the first couple of times I played it, I didn't really feel it that much. Now, whenever I go back to that game, I still don't mind it, but I definitely feel it a lot more than I ever used to.
I think that's entirely fair, and yeah, I'll agree with you on two, or resonate with you on 2 points as well. I definitely started feeling it very recently, or a lot recently, when I was doing the Master Collection Platinum Trophy for Metal Gear Solid 1. I definitely felt it because you have to, you know, do the game a good handful of times to get the platinum. But then with the
Yeah.
big boss run, and I still haven't gone back and done it yet. I went through the whole thing. I was extremely careful. I still have no idea what happened, but everything was perfect except I was one kill over the limit, or it was one kill or one alert, and then I'm still baffled. But I have just been too frustrated to go back because that's on big bosses or Gray Fox as well. So you know, like the very hard everything. I beat Cyborg Ninja without taking a single hit,
I
and
did. I
oh
like your.
god.
I might put a little clip of your YouTube video if that's still up. I might put that in here because that was very impressive.
Oh, thanks very much. I'll get you the link. It's unlisted, so I'll grab you the URL, but it's definitely in there. And
Thank you.
it's funny you call that out because whenever I think about going back to do it, it's that fight I go back to of like, okay, like, 'cause it was certainly not my first try to
Yeah,
to
yeah.
be clear.
I think with the big boss run of MGS1, uh, you have to be careful with Johnny in the jail. So if you lie down in a specific way, you can stand up and choke him before he alerts, and so that's the only way to get around that one, I believe. And then there's also that guy in Rex's lair outside the fucking card room that you either have to time your running past him perfectly, or you can snipe him one time. If you're correct up until that point, you can kill him once to get past him. But of course, he respawns, so you have to choose your which one carefully. If I have the clip, I'll insert that here, and if I don't, I'll do the door closed sound effect that Flash always like to use.
And you know too, like you're talking about like the game, the AI, and you know, like if you put your legs here and then stand up that way, so on and so forth. I miss that so much about the earlier Metal Gear games, where you know when you don't really get the sense of it going through the game for the first couple times to experience the story, but then when you go for the platinum and especially the things like the VR missions, it truly becomes this mastery of the system itself. Like it's much more of an arcade feel where you're trying to trigger certain things and game the code. And I love the openness of Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain and what we've got subsequently. And you know, 4 was kind of a hybrid, but I do miss that kind of like arcade and mastering the system of it.
Yeah, my philosophy has always been limitations breed creativity. And so the thing is, like PCs and consoles, there's not really that many limitations these days. I mean, a lot of games are now like 80 fucking gigs. Like,
Yeah.
Like, how many pixels is that?
If you look at the interviews of 2 especially, where like he wanted to do something like the melting ice, and then it wasn't a like, oh, but, the PS2 might not be like. He always had a great relationship with Sony, where he wanted to, like, okay, the PS2 architecture is really good at this, or 3 like this, and really kind of pushing some of those special features. And so the things like the melting ice and the breaking bottles these days, like, yeah, sure, the ice melts, big deal, but like, to your point, like, that was groundbreaking. They had to figure that out themselves from scratch.
Yeah, exactly.
I got a question for you, actually, that I'm really curious about.
Oh yeah.
We'll probably have the same opinion, but so Konami obviously decided, and I think that was as a result of the fans screaming for it for so long. But we're looking at remakes, and they
Mhm.
decided to go with chronological and started with Metal Gear Solid 3.
Mhm.
While the generally held opinion is that the objectively best way to go through the franchise is release order for all kinds of different reasons. Would you have rather
Mhm.
they started with a different game like 1, or are you pretty content with 3?
So I kind of have two minds about this. On the one hand, like all media is released in release order. I believe that, media for your first run through should always just be in release order, because the person writing Metal Gear Solid 1 wasn't writing Metal Gear Solid 3 at the time, so there's a bunch of stuff that they didn't think of. However, when it comes to Delta, I think Konami really needs a win, and MGS3 is the surefire money printer. Like, there hasn't been a bigger, better money printer than Metal Gear Solid 3. I think of all the original trilogy, Metal Gear Solid 3 is the most fun because it's a James Bond game, you know?
It's such a good way to frame. I think I've always like known that at the back of my head, but never really conceptualized it. That was a really good way to
Yeah.
put it.
What I think Konami should do is they should remake Metal Gear Solid 3, but if they're gonna do Delta, and I don't know if this is if I'm just crazy, but the idea that they're calling it Delta instead of 3, it kind of makes me think they might do like a split timeline type thing at some point, and I don't know how I can justify why that makes me think that, but I just kind of feel like if you're gonna start at 3 and go forwards, as much as I would love just a complete remake of MGS1 and MGS2, and more essentially, Metal Gear 1 and 2, which you could combine into its own kind of game with MG1 being a kind of prologue or first third or something. But I don't know, just the way it's called Delta, it just there's something sticking in my mind that's like down the line they're gonna be like, and this is the point where the timeline changes, and then Venom doesn't exist, or Kiefer Sutherland is too busy, so we're getting Hater in or something, like, you know?
I'd be so on board with that. And well, spoiler warning for a fairly old game at this point, Final Fantasy VII Remake, and that's exactly what they did, right? Where they called it remake. There was no talk of a split timeline or anything, and then it
Mm.
wasn't until a good 90%, 95% of the way, even like there's these odd little hints with
Yeah,
the ghost things flying around. You're like, oh, that's weird. Anyways,
yeah.
but it's not towards the end that like the timeline branches, and I don't know if Konami has the stones to do it. But I think I'm loving this idea. I hadn't even actually thought of it, but there needs to be something new in my opinion. And there's a lot of really talented people that worked on the franchise alongside Kojima, and Kojima always said, like what he wanted for the franchise's future was to see what they would do with it, but. Yeah, I'm fine with a 1-1 remake of the others. I'd be fine with it, but just something new, and that would be. I don't know how confident I am. I don't think you are, to be clear, but it would be awesome.
Yeah, I would like them to do something new, I'd like them to experiment a little bit, and like, I think you could go really weird with it, I think you could go really fun with it. I just don't know if, like, it always comes back to, are they brave enough to do it? And then I'm like, no, because they're a company and they want money.
Right.
Like, that's just what it comes back to for everyone these days. Is there is no risk, or there's not as many risk takers as there used to be. So, you know,
No, there's not, and the NDA has expired on this, and I've confirmed that pretty much good to go here.
Oh,
but to your point about,
exclusive
yeah.
250 viewers special, exclusive information from Effrum That'll Grit, Mr. Ben. Let's go to our reporter live in America. Ben, what have you got for me?
Yeah, and I've there's been a few of us that have kind of like hinted at some of the stuff over the years from and full there's always full transparency if anyone ever wanted to know anything from the Metal Gear Solid subreddit's relationship with Konami at the time. When I say relationship, we'd get flown out to E3 and like they'd be excited to show us stuff and they would be grateful if we enjoyed ourselves and mentioned it on the subreddit. There was never any kind of like remove these posts or like, we'd love it if the conversations went this way, because that was just wasn't what it was. There was this guy, community manager at the time, Robert Pueller, who was just genuinely a great guy, b a giant Metal Gear fan. But we, a couple of us got to, form a personal relationship with him, and we got a bit of information when things were looking like they might move forward with Metal Gear Solid, and then of course the great restructure that caused all of the conflict, and then myself and a couple other people were under NDA with Robert when he kind of just spilled all this. It was a long NDA. I want to say it was like 8 years or something like that. Either way, he let us know kind of like what had been in the works for a potential Metal Gear Solid 6 or spin-off series. And they were, all three ideas were being worked on at the time it was Kojima Studios LA, then Konami LA before that was downsized. But there were three ideas, all of which were really two were really risky and groundbreaking and weird. One was a little bit safer. The one that was a bit safer was kind of like a prequel to Metal Gear 1, where you're Snake in his I think it was the Green Berets or Seal, wherever Snake was.
Green Berets, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, Green Berets. And then the other two ideas, one was just kind of, like you're trapped in Psycho Mantis's mind, and then like it would be a bunch of mini games. That one didn't gain a lot of steam internally, but I know, right?
Sorry,
I'm
just the image that came into my mind was WarioWare, but Psycho Mantis.
I
And
think
then
that he may have even described it as such. Come to think of it.
and then immediately jump from that to the Last Days of Foxhound comic that I absolutely love, and that Psycho Mantis and his fucking like his rivalry with Revolver Ocelot. It's just, I mean, I want WarioWare with Psycho Mantis,
Right.
Mantisware. Give me Mantisware.
In that one, I might be misremembering the detail. Slad is actually the other person that is aware of some of these things, and she could probably describe the Mantis one better. The one I do vividly remember actually got as far as concept art and like a vague thumbs up from Tokyo. So this would be post-Rising. You would be a no-name, military guy, and we're in this new kind of post-Rising, it's almost post-war world within the Metal Gear universe. The big kind of change would be, I think even like the opening cutscene was supposed to be you're out in some field in the Middle East or something, and you look up and there's tons of stars, but instead of regular twinkling stars, they're red. There's not really any mention of it, and then you go on, like it shows some kind of conflict where some kind of government tries to or like some kind of rogue faction tries to overthrow a government. All of a sudden, one of the red stars starts glowing, and it just like rockets down to the earth. And when it crashes, a Metal Gear comes out of it. And so the idea is that there's this giant safety net of Metal Gears orbiting the planet, and all these different governments and factions can call these things down. So there can be, like Rex's. Oh, you can launch the thing from Metal Gear. Like, it doesn't even matter anymore. You can just plop one of these things down wherever you want. And so it's like this authoritarian piece that has, kind of taken over the world. You go throughout all these missions. Sunny is in the game. She's kind of like commanding you here and there. Raiden pops up from time to time to assist, if I'm remembering correctly. And then the big It's funny just being like, not spoiler alert. This is like the big huge twist, but this game never fucking got made, so it doesn't matter. The big twist towards the end would be that like there's this AI that you're fighting against that's controlling all of these things, and of course the story is that Metal Gear proliferation has gotten even worse. Like they're all over the place, and this AI is controlling them all. The big twist at the end is that you find out that it's not an AI that's controlling everything. It was Sunny who had lost her mind completely. And ever since Rising, she had dove into the internet and records and everything after the fall of the Guns of the Patriots and all this information. She latches on to what is essentially the story of Metal Gear, and she finds it insanely tragic, and she has her own warped interpretation of the boss's will. Which involves space and peace and this, that, and the other. And then she's the bad guy. You have to take Sunny out. And then the way that Robert kind of explained, like what's the theme of it? It is kind of history repeating itself. Like the system falls and everything, but yet here we are once again. A warped interpretation of the boss's will has once again shaped the planet for the worse. And then that's there's the end. That's really kind of all we knew. But like I remember Slad and I just sitting there like just jaws, like mouths open, just like come on, why'd you tell us that? I want that.
So you know what's funny is I think if I'd heard that idea years ago, I'd be all for it. But like we're living in an era of, hey, remember your childhood heroes? They fucking failed and we have to go through it again. But like I like the idea except for the whole like history repeating. I'm kind of done with history repeating stories. I kind of just want a new story. But poor Sunny. I mean, she did have a rough go of it, and I did put a lot of tranquilizers into her mum. So that's partially on me, guys. I'm sorry about that.
No, I think that's a fair take, a very, very fair take.
It sounds pretty interesting, but I can also see why they're not going forward with that. So, or at least hopefully they're not. I hope Konami doesn't kick down my door and arrest me for releasing this to the public. But
Just
I
laid off
didn't
that
sign.
game.
I didn't sign any NDAs. Just saying that much. So.
And we that's always a big question mark of like, will I get Robert in trouble? But he like I recently saw I say recently, it's like 6 years ago now, but like there was like some of the ideas had floated out there in an IGN article. It's like, all right.
Okay, well, it's on your head anyway. So
Yeah. Sorry,
but
Robert.
Konami, if you're listening, yes, I can be bought. So just show me a. I want to say a 6-figure number, but also I live in Japan, so 6-figure number is like a 4-figure number in the rest of the world. So show me an 8-figure number, and I'll delete this podcast.
And it's funny, as big of a fan of I am is like I'll always have like I'll always watch new shows and try to keep up. Like I'll usually try to keep one or two like comfort things running in the background, and Metal Gear is very much that for me too. But like I too am kind of over the history repeating itself.
Yeah.
Thing. The one kind of media I digested recently that I thought did really well with it was the fourth Dune book, God Emperor of Dune, where there's a character who lives essentially like he's almost eternal, like he lives for thousands of years, and like they do the history repeating itself thing, but like it's him realizing, because he can see the past and the future, that history always repeats itself, and him just being like, God, this is the most boring shit ever. Like, how do I stop this cycle from continuing forever? Because it always repeats. He's like, it's always like, oh, people break free, and then like they get comfy and lazy, and then like they stop fighting for things, then they get
then they
oppressed,
build
and then
another fucking Metal Gear.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it is exactly that. And like, so this like godlike character is like, Jesus, like, how do I stop this? So that was an interesting take on it.
Well, anyway, to this video was originally going to be about Metal Gear Solid 3. Now it's kind of a retrospective on the history or our history regarding Metal Gear Solid 3. But so that I can use some of the footage that I have,
Yeah,
I
let's
wanted
dive
to
into
ask.
3.
I want to ask you about your experience with. Well, first of all, have you ever done an extreme run with Metal Gear Solid 3?
With 3, I don't think so, actually. I think 3 and 4 are the only ones I have not.
So, like, I sent you a while ago the virtuous mission that I did,
Yeah.
which is one of those ones where you have to just basically run straight through it.
I was watching your virtuous play, and like you're correct. Like it was almost like a dead sprint through, doing the extremes, or the platinums on
Mhm.
1 and 2. It's funny you mention that because like I think like there's a trick to Metal Gear Solid, the first three anyways, especially
Mhm.
when you have the Soliton radar up, where I think
Mhm.
most rooms, and that was another thing I was gonna say. I agree with you on the environment with 3, that like it really is just changing the graphics because like each screen really is just another room. At the end of the day, I think Flash put it best, where he's like, Metal Gear Solid's actually just a 2D game. Like the game is almost
Yeah,
a Soliton radar, and then like
it
there's a 3D
absolutely
thing
is.
with it. Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, which is beautiful, but with I think in almost every, or at least 80% of the rooms in each game of the first 3, I'd say, like there's a path where you can almost dead sprint it. Like if you
Mhm.
start right, like when you enter the room, you can
Yeah,
almost run through each and every room if you know like where the guards are going to be looking.
exactly. Yeah, and so that's like when it comes to doing an extreme run, it kind of rewards how well you know the environment from previous runs, which is why most people, when they're doing an extreme run or a Foxhound run, you do it from one where you already got all the camos, especially the camos from the bosses and stuff like that, because it just aids you and helps you get through the there, because especially the early game with Foxhound Run, there's some tricky parts. So I guess what I'll ask you next, because we talked a lot about the maps, I want to talk about the bosses.
Yeah, yeah.
So on the scale of best boss to worst boss, which do you think is the best boss in MGS3?
Can I say the boss? Is that cheating? Yeah, because it's
I
definitely the
guess
boss.
she is the final boss, and she is definitely the final test, which is something that a lot of games I play actually have like a final test boss, like Sekiro. I don't know if you ever played Sekiro, but the final boss of Sekiro is a "Did you pay attention during this game?" type boss. It's amazing. But yes, she is the boss. So yeah, but excluding the boss.
Oh, gosh, I think I have to go with the end for the best, not just for like the first time that I played it, which was like the first, at least like 3D, maybe any game that had a sniping section where like I really felt like this was like a cat and mouse, hunt or be hunted, using every tool at my disposal, like listening to the environment, which was something so new at the time.
And then
And then
also
of
you can
course, yeah,
piss them
we're
off
we're
by
both about to say the same thing. Yeah.
capture his bird and eat it in front
Yep.
of him.
Yeah, and yeah, which is
Take
just
that,
like
old
horrific.
man.
Yeah, yeah. It's like this guy's like on his like dying days, and you're just like, yes, like this one thing left in this world that you love, I am going to consume it in front
Oh,
of you, and my stamina gauge is going to go up
hmm,
from it.
pretty good.
Yeah, I want some more.
Hey, old man, you got another parrot?
That'd be so funny if like he just like hated the taste of it too. Like it was just like for nothing.
Yeah.
It's like I ate your bird and it did me no good
Ugh,
either.
this sucks.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
Wow, you did that really good.
Years
Um,
and yeah, years of practice. The I think like the next, like there's like the two aspects of it, right? There's like
yeah,
the fury is almost hilarious, but like I enjoyed the fight a little bit.
yeah.
I have to go with the worst is the fear.
The fear is the worst for you. That's interesting
He's
because
maybe down there.
for me the worst is the pain because his fucking
Oh yeah.
hitboxes fucking eat shit. They are the
Never mind, just
fucking
the pain.
worst hitboxes. I'm sure I still have footage of me like shooting at his head and like the bullets are just whizzing past even though because he does like a weird rocking motion as well. It's and I was playing him on my PS4, which has a controller that was like 7 years old, so there's a little drift and stuff. So like just trying to, for the love of God, please just hit his fucking head. I was going nuts fighting the
No, you're
pain.
right. It's the pain, and like there have been runs as well where like, and I have experienced that for sure. The hitbox thing, he does this stupid little boxing bob and weave bullshit. But
Yeah.
there have been other times where like for whatever reason it worked perfectly, and like I don't even think I moved. Like
Oh
I've
yeah, no.
timed
If
the
you
shots perfectly.
that's the thing because I was so frustrated. So I was going on YouTube. The way I do my extreme runs is I look at what speedrunners do, and like I'm not trying to speed run, but like they know all the tricks and stuff. Like if you go watch my Metal Gear Solid 2 extreme run, if you want to see some speedrunner tech used by someone who isn't a speedrunner, but. And I watch them, and they're just like, "Okay, he's done," and now I'm going. I'm like, "Wait, what? No, you what? You
How
didn't
did you
even."
do that though?
Yeah, exactly. And I would like, dude, I I think I took 10 years off my life fighting that guy. So I do
No,
agree. I've always been of the opinion that the fear and the pain are in the wrong boss arenas. What they should have done is the fear is chasing you through the cave. And so he'd be like popping out at times and he'd be like, fear, and like shoot you and stuff. And you'd be
Oh.
like, oh, I'm trapped in the dark. And like if you tried using the NVGs, he would like flashbang you. And, like you would really have to get used to the environment and then you'd be able to spot him and maybe get a shot in. But the idea is to get to where that water pool is. It would be like maybe like an indoor forest or something. But the idea is like you've gone through the dark cave, you've escaped your fear, and so now you can face your fear in this more open, fair area. And then you put the pain in the area with all the traps and stuff, because traps cause pain, and it's all about like it's like a DPS race where like you're tricking him into activating the things, he's tricking you into them. There's hornet nests around. Maybe he takes hornets from them and shoots them at you, or maybe you throw a hornet's nest and so his hornets don't attack you, they go to the nest. And like I think they should have swapped them. It's been stuck in my head for years, and so whenever I fight the two of them, I just get really mad because I'm like, no, they should be the other way around.
No, you're right, and I think it's gonna be stuck in my head forever now too. Because like to your point about like I love the conquering your fear in the cave piece to it. On top of like the how the hell do you not put that creepy spider guy in a cave to pop out
Exactly.
like to scare you
Yeah.
all the time? But like to your point about the conquering your fear thing, like there was this narrative of Snake has to face and
Conquer his
conquer these
emotions. Yeah.
yeah, and then
Yeah.
he's like a more complete perfect soldier. I remember reading that, maybe a year or two after 3 came out. I remember thinking like, oh, that's a cool take. I didn't feel any of that throughout
Yeah.
playing it at all.
Yeah. Exactly.
And yeah, I
But
think you wouldn't
if you
feel it.
swap them around, and obviously it wouldn't be like a pool because the idea of the pool is to protect you from the hornets. But like if it was like you know how there's that cavern in China that's like an underground forest? Like imagine you pop out and in there, and then the fear still has a bit of an advantage because you can climb trees and stuff, but like you're no longer boxed in, and so you can like freely use your guns. And then, of course, if you defeat him earlier, maybe there's like a bonus or something. But
I did like the poison, like the survival menu aspect of the fear fight.
poison.
I really enjoyed because like it, especially being younger at the time, like it felt like a fight for my life where I was like hiding behind a tree. It's like, oh god, I gotta get this arrow out of my leg. Oh my god.
Beep bum, beep bum, beep bum, beep bum.
Yeah, and like the survival menu actually didn't even bother me.
My favorite boss, not including the end or the boss, because I think those are just on a technical level, like steps above. I really love the Fury. The more I fight the Fury, the more I love the Fury because I realize he's just Vulcan Raven on crack. Like he is just going around. He's like stomping around. Fury, I fell from space. And then I've been fighting him a lot recently. There's things he does that I never knew he could do. Actually, let me see if I can send this through Discord. This is from one of my streams. It's him doing a fucking cartwheel. He's like, it's like spinning as he comes down the hallway. But yeah, and then also another time I saw him. The place where you enter from. He can like go up there and he stands on top of the railing. So he's not even behind the. He's like He's like bouncing on the railing like a fucking crazy asshole.
I have seen while I open it, I have seen the railing one before, and I think it was actually my last playthrough where he hopped up on there, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like, it's like horrifying. It's like this scary, just like, and what a voice he has. Oh my god, what was that?
right?
What was that?
3, 2, 1, lift up.
I've never seen that. That is
Yeah,
terrifying. Is that a
yeah.
glitch?
I don't know. That's the thing. I've watched it so many times trying to figure out if it's a glitch, but it looks like he's actually doing somersaults.
Yeah. It's like if you think about the mechanics of it, it's hilarious as well. Where like the jetpack is like he's like tilted it forward or something, so that like the
Yeah.
jetpack is just like twirling or tumbling him through the air.
Twirling, twirling.
And like, that even sounds like him. Like who is it? Richard Doyle? I think it
Yeah,
was.
Richard Doyle. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
never forget him. He's a legend.
Oh my gosh! Like, I see you, boss. I'm reaching for the stars. Oh my god! Like this guy is just like giving his performance of a lifetime. Yeah. Did you know that the Ocelot voice actor in 3 had just done some like TV? I think he's like from a soap opera or something. Like he hadn't really done any voice work before.
He did such a good job with Young Ocelot because he has to do cringe, but he has to believe it's cool. So like the
Right.
like
Oh, I need to
like
make that my ringtone.
what, me doing it or Ocelot doing it?
Both. Just alternating.
I'll cl- I'll clip it for you.
Yeah, please. The wife will love
But
it.
but no, fucking I cannot get enough of young Ocelot discovering his sexuality. It's one of the most amazing things about Metal Gear Solid 3 is just watching him be like, "Don't you love me? Don't you love me, Snake?
Like,
Look,
how
I got
good I'm
this gun
feeling.
you like."
It's so hot how you hold that gun. I love how he like listens to like everything. It's like the engravings on that revolver give you no tactical advantage whatsoever. It's like, oh, I better get rid of this. I don't want him thinking less of me if I show up. And then he shows up. It's like your new gun's still fucking trash. And it's like, oh god.
See this bullet, Snake? It's from the first time we met.
Look how shiny my boots are. Oh god, like some of the lines in that thing are just I love them. So like they're just so quintessential Metal Gear.
Just everything with Eva and Tatiana, the most paper-thin disguise
Oh
that's
my
ever
gosh.
existed, and Volgan still can't see it. Like, there's literally, in the torture scene, when he's torturing Snake, everyone in the room knows that everyone else is a spy, except for Volgan, who's just like, I'm having a great day!
Everything's going exactly as I wanted it to today.
I can't wait to do my next podcast episode on the Philosopher's Legacy.
Yeah. Oh my god, and like like I remember playing through 3 and like the whole Tatiana and Eva thing. I started like question myself. Like it's so obvious. Is it the same person?
It gets to a point where you're like, okay, this is too obvious. There's gonna be some other twist. And then
Has to
Eva's
be.
just at the end. Eva's like, "No, I'm just that bad as a spy. If the boss wasn't around, I would be dead."
It's like straight up like Clark Kent, where like she pulls off the glasses, but like there's no like later explanation of like, oh, the glasses are magic and they change people's perception.
Well,
No, it's
to
just
be
Metal Gear Universe.
to be honest, we never called Sigint to ask him, did we? You know, if we got the
True.
glasses as a thing, he'd be like, "Yo, Snake! Oh, those are Superman's hypno glasses. Those were
Yeah.
developed by the Chinese."
I would almost feel better about that. Like it, like because like it's a silly explanation, right? But like when they did it in Superman, like I was like, okay, like at least there's something. Like there's something. Like even if it's kind of silly, he came to planet Earth with magic glasses. It's something.
Yep. So we're saying Eva came to planet Earth with magic glasses. Then that's where we're at.
That's my headcanon now.
Okay, last daughter of Krypton, Eva. um. Oh man. Well, now that we're talking about the characters, we got to talk about the entire ending sequence. So I want to say everything post torture. We'll count that as like the ending sequence where you're returned to Grozny Grad. You know, C3 because it can't be C4. This is the past, so it's got to be C3.
Right. Oh my
Which
god. Yeah.
you know what? Actually, I gotta Google that because I feel like C4. Like, why is it called C4? So, according to Google AI, the term C4 refers to the process of C4 carbon fixation, which is kind of what I thought, assuming that this AI isn't just lying to me. Which, oh wait, it's got a handy breakdown here. C, stands for carbon. 4 refers to the 4-carbon product created in the initial stages of the photosynthetic pathway. So that's what C4 stands for. Now, let's see, is there such a thing as C3? And yes, I am this polite whenever I talk to Google. Oh, and according to Reddit No Stupid Questions, yes, there is. C3 was more toxic and... Oh, okay. Yeah, C3 was more toxic and didn't go boom as well. Which actually, I
Really?
guess yeah. Well, according to Reddit, so you know, but
I'm shocked.
yeah, and apparently there might be a C5 in the future. So when Sunny starts going nuts, you know, we know what we got to use. We got to use the C5 because it's the future. Okay, I always just assumed that the C3 was just like a dumb joke of like, well, it's the 60s. It can't possibly be C4. But no,
No, same.
apparently. Okay, well,
And
breaking news: C3 exists, and but it doesn't go boom as well. So that explains why the Shagahod didn't Do you think when you know Snake? Wait, where did? Oh, he gets the C3 from Eva, right? Isn't it
yes, yeah.
Eva? So like, you know, Eva's going through, and she's in she's in the armory, and there's a big pile of C3 and a big pile of C4, and she's like, which one? And she just picked the wrong one.
It's so funny to come to this realization too, because I'm trying to think back, and I'm pretty sure this is one of those things where like I, as a kid or young teen, I like took Metal Gear history for granted a few times, and I'm pretty sure this is like one of those times where like I'm sitting in class and like like old weaponry or something comes up and like I bring up C3 and it's like one of those things where like the teacher's looking at me like what the fuck are you talking about, like no, and like Metal Gear's done that to me a couple of times. Like like they reference some historical thing, and then a teacher or someone's like, "What the heck? No, no."
However, it is true that ghosts can possess you through arm transplants, so you do got to be careful for that one at least.
Oh,
But
I love that one. But yeah, sorry, I got us on another left turn. There's a lot more to unpack with the characters and stuff there.
yeah, but no, that whole sequence of getting the C3 from Eva behind the waterfall, like going up that ladder, getting back into the base, Groznygrad, and you put the C3 down, and Snake goes, "Yes, this does exist. It's not made up for this game." And then he sets the timer, and he winks at the camera, but you can't see because he's got the eye patch by this point. And then everything from the standoff, where that cutscene. Tatiana's on the ground. Ocelot's got his gun on you, I think, or maybe on her, and Volgan's just standing there, aura farming, and the boss is there too, I think. And then obviously the sorrow is like, floating around. And just like everything from that moment onward is just escalation after escalation after escalation. It's just so much fun. It's like the most fun I've had at the end of a game since Halo 1. When you're doing the Warthog run on top of the ship. Like, it's just like Volgan's like, C3, eh? Gonna blow up my base, eh? Well, time for rage in the cage.
Oh, what a cool boss fight that was too, and like 2 and 3 especially, like their whole end sequence, and they both did this to me as a kid, where it's like, I guess I'm staying up all night because there's no way I'm stopping right now. Like
Yeah.
everything just keeps amping up.
Also, for one, you couldn't pause cutscenes or anything back then, so it's like when you're in a cutscene, I mean, I can. You gotta
Oh my
wait for
god.
some gameplay to save. But no, I was the exact same. Just like you're so in that you don't even realize it's 4 a.m. and you got school in a couple hours. Um, but yeah,
And the
just
colonel
so,
told me not to turn, or the colonel told me to turn off the console. And I wasn't about to listen to that. Can't tell me
yeah,
what to do at 14.
I don't listen to the man.
Listen here, military government man.
Skullface original flavor.
But like you hit the nail on the head with 3 though, where like it just keeps like there's like the twists and then the payoffs and like you know you're about to figure out like what is really going on with the boss, and there's just so much.
Yeah. So, you defeat Volgin. Ocelot has his little heel face turn. Ocelot, what are you doing? Because he starts helping you out, and so he gets ordered to piss off. And then just the whole bike sequence. Like, that is an all-time gaming moment of history right there. Just Eva, for one thing, excellent driving of the bike, except also
God.
like some of the worst because she's hitting every single wall along the way. It's I think she learned to drive in Mario Kart. Uh,
Zero consequence driving.
yeah, but it's so much fun, and the fact that they just give you infinite ammo. I think of so many games these days where you're a driving sequence or something, and it gets pulled back because you have to like reload or you run out of ammo or something. And whereas Metal Gear, it's just like, oh, you need to reload, press R2 twice, and you've just immediately, instantly reloaded. Also, you don't have to worry about ammo in this sequence. Just go nuts and destroy this whole fucking base and just demolish everyone. And while you're doing it, Volgan's demolishing it right behind you. It's just everyone's getting in on the fun. He kills more of his own men than you do.
It's so good. And like to your point about like Metal Gear isn't afraid to just be like, you know what, if there's infinite ammo right here, it's just gonna be more fun. So just do it. And like that goes
Exactly.
back to that arcade thing too of like the double tapping R2 to reload. Like they never really cared to fix that until like a really long time because that's just the game. Like that's the system and that's part of
Exactly.
the gameplay.
Yeah. Have you ever, so when you're on the runway, if you call in the, so Volgan in the Shacklehog can fire missiles at you. I think you get the same phone call during the, Codec during the actual fight with the Shacklehog, but you can call Sigan and it's like, he's firing missile, sorry, he's firing. I haven't done my snake voice in a while. I need to, rations, Metal Gear, Sigan, he's firing missiles at me. Yo, man, I bet you can shoot those out of the fucking air. If anyone can do it, you can, Snake. And it's just like such a like this wouldn't happen in real life, but you're Snake, so you can do it. Phone call, you know?
Pure Rambo. Pure Rambo. Just like you've
Yeah.
got like an M60 30 cal machine gun shooting missiles out of the sky. It doesn't get more action hero than that.
Didn't feel a thing.
Oh god, yeah. Oh, what was the other one that is like get a load of this or like something like that or
Yeah, go. I'll grind you into dust.
that's the one I was. Yeah, I'll grind you into dust.
It's so because so I doing my Foxhound run, I did it in Japanese, and in Japanese he goes "boro boro dei," which is like, is it okay if I, well, it's not quite that polite, but it's essentially because dei is like, is it okay, and boro boro is like grind you up, so it's like, is it okay if I grind you up? Like it just kind of hits a bit different, but it's still so good. Boro boro dei. I just love the series so much, man, and I'm really happy Delta got made, even if it's just a shameless 1-to-1 plus some Snake versus Monkey, shenanigans. Like, I think right now, Delta is what I need in my life. I mean, I
Yeah.
can
Oh no,
always,
I
I
definitely
can,
know.
I can always go back and play any of the old Metal Gears. In fact, I generally do. If I wasn't studying for the fucking N2 JLPT exam, I'd be playing much more video games than I currently am. But like, I really just want them to try something. I want them to take a risk. I think MGS3 is the safest bet they're ever gonna have when it comes to a remake, and so that's the one where they have the most leeway to try something. Like we've been talking in our private chats of like, what if they put in a little Skullface reference or something like that? Like, now is the time to try it, you know?
Yeah, and I want them to have the dub for sure. Like not just because I want there to be success with the franchise, but to your like I just want there to be more Metal Gear, not in the sense of like keep cranking out this, that, or the other. Like it doesn't have to be all the time, but just to see more people get introduced to the franchise for the first time and spark new discussions, and just for me as well to either experience new content, see what risks they're taking, or I'm totally cool with it, once I finish up, whatever my current comfort blanket thing is, like for remakes and things like that to be it, because at the end of the day, just warm and somehow cozy in a sense, and I could use that too, man. And I don't know, there's just something about it, and I just would like more of it in my life.
Oh, look. Oh, Mimi put some eyes in the chat.
Oh
Mimi.
yeah, and I actually just got a chat as well that it is now time to put the buddy boy down for nap, which means that my loud voice near the sleeping room will have to come to an end for now.
Oh, okay. Hey, Mimi. So this is F. He's a friend of mine, also living in America, in somewhere near Atlanta or something. I don't know. But
Very near
Mimi,
Atlanta.
yeah. So yeah,
Konnichiwa, it's great to meet you digitally.
yeah, yeah. We literally have just been talking about. Well, we were supposed to talk about MGS3 because I have a bunch of footage that I fucked up and didn't record sound on, and but instead we just talked about all sorts of fucking Metal Gear stuff for the past 2 hours. So
That's the most likely story on the planet, I feel. Also, fun fact, I just got into making aquariums. Now I have two, well, actually, technically they're ponds, but I have 2 ponds now, so
Do you have any koi in
woohoo.
there?
I don't have anything that's actually, like, that big. I have
Oh, as
guppies.
soon as I asked that question, I was like, idiot, Ben.
No, I have, I have, like, a few goldfish, betas, guppies, barbs, algae eater, plecos, and catfish.
Oh, very cool. A catfish, yeah, that's still bigger than what I was initially picturing. Yeah,
Um,
I had a
yeah, I mean,
mismatch from the pond to the.
in the future, yes, absolutely.
That's awesome. My stepdad was very big, and he was a landscaper for a long time, and he built a giant
Oh,
pond in our backyard and filled it with koi, which was really really cool, and put like a little bridge over it, and it was I
my
always had
dad,
fun feeding them.
I would
my
have filled
dad
it with
was
water first.
oh, very true,
Yeah, good point.
very true. My dad was a discus breeder.
A discus breeder? Those things that they throw at the Olympics?
Sports, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. You're on the target. You're on target. Good job. You're so smart.
I hate to meet you and run. We're about to put my baby son down, and my very loud voice from the next room is keeping him up. So I'm getting the message from the wife.
Animal. I'm like, damn, they're taking him to the vet.
Yeah. Sayonara, Adamska.
Oh, he went down to sleep. Oh, okay.
I'll make sure that he gets to do like I'll get like a video of him to say hello next time he's up to send to Joel that he can share.
Yes, please do. And I'll send you some videos of Mimi's ducks. So
Awesome, please do. I legitimately love
That's
ducks. And
easy.
we have talked
That's
about
easy
having
because I
one
spend
someday.
them all the damn time.
Hell
Never.
yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
she's
Well, this was a
quackers.
blast, and
Yeah, thank you, F.
quackers. Yeah, it was a blast, and it was awesome meeting you, Mimi.
Right.
Okay.
Later,
Nice
buddy.
meeting you too.
Later, y'all.
Bye. Yay, Foxhound.